Hello, world. It's me, Dennis, and welcome to another LinkedIn edition of Reasonably Spontaneous Conversation. I'm here with my friend Phyllis Snodgrass. Hello, Phyllis.
Dennis, it's so good to see you.
You go from one CEO to another CEO, and this is a new phase. Here we are in February of 2023. Tell me about your new initiative, please.
Well, I have had a wonderful journey through the business world and CEOs of multiple nonprofits. So thankful for you very early in my career because you were one of my first encouragers to more public speaking. And
Thank you.
I'll never forget the interview you did back in Victoria, Texas, where you filmed me and then critiqued me very painfully in person, but it was one of the most constructive things that ever happened. And I have shared that with so many people since. So thank you, because
My pleasure.
yeah,
And it was so exciting to me because I knew when I first met you, I sat there and I just went, "Oh my goodness, this is a woman of consequence. This is someone who is going," and because you over my career, of course, I'm your elder brother, and to be able to know, but you as still have come up through the ranks where women have to do twice as much backwards and in heels in order to be able to do it. So but I always respected the fact that you would always lead, and you would lead by example, and you would lead by your ability to communicate and to collaborate and to bring people in, and so this is apparently what you're doing right now. So tell me about the new initiative now.
well, I have been blessed the last 6 years. I was with Habitat, Austin Habitat for Humanity for 7 years as CEO. I've had a kind of a history of popping into a nonprofit, being brought in to kind of orchestrate a turnaround, and I'll do that and then get called to another. And it's been just a joyous journey. I've enjoyed every moment of it. But I knew at some point that the Habitat was really in a good place, and it was time to look for that next CEO that would come in and take what we had built and move it on up, and for me to look for something else. And I have been participant of C12 business forums. As a CEO, I found that it was lonely. It was a place where you didn't always have the right feedback. What I appreciated so much about you was giving me that honest feedback that I really needed. And people just don't always do that. When you're in a CEO role, you get a lot of attaboys and pats on the back. Or criticisms, but there's not a healthy place sometimes to work through all that. And so I knew going into that I was going to need it, and I sought out a peer group, then found out about C12, and it's actually a CEO forum for Christian CEOs and business owners. So it's unique in the world of business, and that you've got peers with experiences that really want to see you be successful holistically, like mind, body, and soul. And that was very appealing to me, especially at this point in my life. So I leaned in. I joined. I became a C12 member. I sat around a board facilitated by a chair with other CEO peers that would lean in and listen to what was going on. We were learning together. We were trying to get better at what we did and improve business together, but also leaning in and holding each other accountable. And it's so important to have somebody that you can be totally honest with about everything. And we don't hold anything back in C12. That's really part of the beauty of it. So everything's on that table. If you run a great business and you hit all the numbers, but your marriage falls apart, your children fall apart, your employees are leaving and unhappy. That's just not healthy. And so to really lead a good business and lead it well, you want to be a light, you want to shine in the community, and you want to not only be successful, but have all those other pieces in place. And so C12 was super helpful to me in that way. And I found that when you do all those things right, really the business actually does better. So
Isn't that amazing?
it's
Isn't that
amazing.
amazing? If you really, I mean, that this idea of that you only have to have one bottom line, and it either has to be black or red, and it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you hit those numbers. But then the rest of your life is an absolute awful show. What is that? What have you got? It's, it's
No,
that what does it gain? What do you gain if you gain the entire world but lose your peace of mind and you
that's right.
lose what you have? And so that's part of the process at C12.
Absolutely. It is, very biblical there. Dennis, what profits a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? And
Yep.
one of my favorite songs, "Lose My Soul," is about that. And so that's kind of been my mantra for a while. It's like I want to live a life that shines a path for others so that
Hmm.
one, I don't want them to make the same mistakes I've made. I
Right.
have made some mistakes in life. If I can help others not make those mistakes, that would leave the world in a better place. And I want to help other CEOs feel good about what they're doing every day, enjoy getting up, enjoy the process. We're meant to be creators. We're meant to work. We're meant to build and make things and do things. And often we see that as a chore as opposed to an opportunity and a real place to have joy and peace. But to have joy and peace, all those other pieces have to be in place. You can't do that just with the bottom line in mind.
So what did you want to go into, and you choose to be the CEO of this? How did that happen?
So I took it to my forum. So one of the beauties of C12 is they have a portion of the meeting where it's open forum and you can just whatever you've got going on in your head, you can brain dump on the group and get the feedback of others. And so I had been wrestling through for months, and praying about like, what is my next thing? What should I be doing next? I felt like that you do get to a point in your life where you feel like I've learned some things that would be helpful if I could pass those on. Do I want to go start up another nonprofit again, or not start one up, but help one? Do I
Sure.
do I want to keep doing what I've been doing, or is it time for me to do something different?
Hmm.
And I do like the challenge. I do like getting to learn something new. So, um, with with taking that to the group, their immediate response to me was, "Well, why don't you lead a C12 group?" And sometimes the most obvious things are right in front of us. So I was like, "It's a rather novel idea. I don't know why I didn't think of it." So looked into it, did some more research, decided that if they would have me, it is invitation. So if they would have me, I think I would like to do it. And so I reached out, and went through that discernment process with the C12 leadership, and they accepted me, put me through the training, and so now I'm out building boards, which is really just meeting with people, getting to know where they're at. If there's a great fit for us, I love that. If there's not, then I just got to meet a great person that I'm going to enjoy. So that's one of the beauties of doing this at this point in my life is I don't feel like I've this heavy sales pressure to try to do something. I'm just enjoying the heck out of meeting with people, finding out where they're at on their journey, and seeing if maybe we have something mutual that we could be benefiting each other with. So it's so
Oh
much
God,
fun.
that sounds wonderful. And so where the CEOs that are there, are
Hmm.
you seeing some common themes with in the
Yeah.
C12 forum that you're seeing in the ways that, because again, when I think about you as a turnaround specialist, you really go whatever there is organization you see, okay, well, here are the things that we've been trying to do, here's the things that we've been not. And so how do you look at this? How have you looked at this, and do you plan out for your next for the next 6 months of the year? Where are you taking? What are the vision that you're having for this?
So one of the things about being a CEO chair is I am not supposed to come in with all the answers. I'm supposed to facilitate. I've got a group of CEOs. Hopefully, when I get a full board built, it's 12. I'm hoping to build 2 or 3 boards, so there'll be opportunity to
Hmm.
expand this. And it's a chance to bring the best out of the whole room. They all have input and they all have life experiences, and so I think one of the challenges of moving into this role, for me, for anyone that's been a CEO, is I'm not supposed to be always the answer person, but you over time know how to get into problem solving and bringing things out, and so you're hopefully helping to bring things to light by asking good questions, and keeping the dialogue flowing and keeping everybody engaged in the process. And I think that's what makes for really fruitful meetings, is because the benefit of being in a room of CEOs is you've got 12 people who all can take your watch off and tell you what time it is in a different language and give it back to you. And all those different insights and different ways of looking at a problem can really help you walk away with a better approach to solving whatever problem you've got in front of you. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to getting to pull together a group of people that will grow closer over time, that will become a support network for each other. I mean, my brothers and sisters in my C12 group are going to be friends for life for me. They have just been with me through hard times, through good times. They've watched the business grow and be successful, but they've also watched me go through things in my personal life, and they've just been such a support and so much insight and wisdom. And so I look forward to seeing more of that happen for more business owners and CEOs in this region who I don't think sometimes people realize how lonely they are. I don't think they realize how much they really need other people in the room around them speaking into their life. And so I'm hoping that we'll find them. Well, I know that we will find the people that need this. It will happen. So it's just a matter of time.
I was thinking about that, Phyllis, because what you always do as a CEO is that it seems like that this group, that a CEO, the more that a CEO listens
Mhm.
rather than tells,
Yes.
first seek to understand before you need to be understood.
Mhm.
First listen to what the situation is. I mean, it seems like that all the skills that you did, you're actually employing this, and then CEOs can go back into their companies and say, look, we're more of a community. I'm certainly here. I'm the CEO. I'm here to facilitate it. But all the ideas that I need to have are already there. Bring them forward rather than
Absolutely.
relying on me to be the one who is the absolute expert. It takes some of the pressure off. It seems like that this could be a model for how they can lead when they go back into their organizations.
That's exactly right. I was blessed with just an amazing team, and that's what you try to build as a CEO. You try to build an amazing team. I was blessed with an amazing team at many of the places I've worked at, Habitat being the most recent. Just incredibly talented folks, and learning how to bring them in the room together, pull out their strengths and propel them into leadership. Um, that's a gift to the organization. It's a gift to the CEO because it gets them bandwidth and allows them to think. CEOs should spend more time thinking about the future and thinking about their people than they should be talking and yeah,
Well, so
directing people.
Well, then is that one of the things that you would talk about in your forums, to be able to say, how are you building the next generation leader? How are you empowering the people that are already there so that they know? I mean, those kinds of discussions, those kinds of hard discussions where you said, are you really taking on more than you really need to, and disempowering your people and not really giving them, are those the kinds of conversations you can have?
I think you have been listening in on some of our conversations. It's very much. And we will do 360s with the leaders and their team and do that confidentially. And then very often the feedback is, you're doing too much. You need to take a step back. You need to empower these people to do more. You need to lean into them. You may need more help. You may need to invest more here or there. But being able to give people that feedback, or maybe for a time you do have to lean in and do this, but this is where your goal should be. This is where you can be heading. And it's freeing and empowering, to have, and people just need that. They need to hear other people tell them that, they work so hard to get it to a certain place. and then it's time to move to that next level. And often they stay in that doing mode and they don't move up into that leadership mode. And so it really does help people get to be a better leader.
What do you want to leave us with, Phyllis, about the C12 forum that I haven't asked about, so that I would understand, that I can understand, and what is a do thing that you want people to be thinking about if they want to learn more?
Absolutely. So it requires an investment of time. I mean, it's forcing yourself to take a day a month and work on the business, not in the business. And I knew I wanted that. I knew that I'm the kind of person that will fill up my calendar with things to do. If you give me 30 days, I'm going to be busy for 30 days. And so I knew that I needed to force myself into stepping away, because you don't get better at what you're doing by just doing the same thing over and over. So it requires that investment. It requires a commitment. It requires a financial commitment, because no one values anything that they don't pony up something for in the first place. But the rewards far exceed the investment, and it's well worth that. So if there are CEOs, business owners, leaders in the community that feel like this would be something that would be beneficial to them in their walk, I would love to have a conversation with them. Not going to try to sell them on something. I would just have a conversation, see where they're at, see if there's something we can do for each other. And if this ends up being a good fit for them, they'll know, and we'll move that forward. But a joy always talk to you and to get to share with you a little bit more about C12. It's an incredible organization. I'm just really thankful they let me be a part of it.
Well, Phyllis, thank you for this time. Thank you for sharing about C12. All the things that you're doing. The one thing you know is that I will be with you as long as I'm on the planet. I will be here watching you continue to grow and empower everyone around you, as you've done in every single stop in your career. And I know that this is going to be the same. So thank you for joining me on a Reasonably Spontaneous Conversation LinkedIn edition. Thank you, Phyllis Snodgrass.
Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate you and just value our friendship.
Absolutely. We'll see everybody next time.
This episode of Reasonably Spontaneous Conversations has been brought to you in part by In Search of the New Compassionate Male. For more information, go to newcompassionatemale.com.